Hey y'all, thanks for joining me for a new What's for Dinner. So, quick little disclaimer, it is late at night right now and I am filming in front of my window, so it's making me have these weird shadows that makes it look like I don't know how to do my makeup. So, I'm tired of doing this intro over and over, so please just look past it. But this video is in collaboration with Tiffany from Small Town 6. I will definitely be sure to leave a link to her channel down below in my description box, just in case you haven't heard of her before. That way y'all can jump right on over to her channel after you get done with this video, so that you guys can watch her What's for Dinner video and get even more dinner inspiration. She is super sweet. She has been a longtime supporter of mine, which I really appreciate, and she's just a super uplifting person, and I really love that about her. She does a lot of stuff over on her channel. She does meal planning and grocery hauls, lots of good cooking, which is why we are both here today. She does cleaning videos and also some day in the life vlogs, so definitely be sure to check her out and go and show her some love. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get cooking. Okay, so first up, I made a pot of just some classic chili. So, of course, we're going to need some ground beef. This is a 3-pound roll, but I'm only going to be using 1 pound of it. This was the cheapest version of ground beef I could find, and it still was not cheap. These meat prices are insane. But I'm going to go ahead and get that added to my pot and pull out my little meat masher tool and get that broken apart. When mine's about halfway cooked through, that's when I like to season my meat, and I know that's kind of a popular debate as to when you should do this, but to me, it just tastes best when I do it like this. And if you've been with me for a while, you already know what I'm adding here. Just some garlic and onion powder and some salt and pepper. So now that I've got that added, I'm just going to let it continue to cook, and then I'm going to drain off my grease. So now I'm going to add in some tomato sauce. Normally, I just do 1 regular size can, but I did a Kroger hometown pickup, and they gave me 2 of the smaller ones. Now, normally, I usually fill up my can of tomato sauce with water and dip it in, but I wanted a thicker chili, so instead I did a can of crushed tomatoes. I'm also going to add in 1 can of chili beans. This is a mixed variety this time. And then this is our go-to chili seasoning. It's the French's Chili O. To be honest, I've only tried maybe 1 or 2 other ones, but once you found the one and your go-to, there's no need to look for others. But yeah, so I feel like everyone has their own special ingredient that they add to their chili, and mine is brown sugar. It is super good. I'm addicted to it. Anytime I eat chili anywhere else, I always ask if they have some brown sugar so that I can add it to my bowl. It's that good. But I just let mine simmer anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. With this particular pot, I do have to go in a few times to stir it to make sure that nothing's sticking to the bottom. And yes, here in Kentucky, we add spaghetti noodles to our chili. Now, I'm not speaking for everyone, but this is how I have always known it. This is how my parents do it, my friends, pretty much everyone I know, and even the school systems here make it this way. And it's not a lot. I just boiled up 1/4 of a box, and I like to cook it separately. I just think it tastes better. And I do like to let some of that pasta water in just to kind of thin this chili out a little bit. But that is it. That's how I make my chili, and I think that's really interesting to see how everyone makes theirs different. And a lot of people are super passionate about their chili. But yeah, so we always like to serve some type of sandwich with ours. Sometimes we'll do grilled cheese, but we really prefer some type of peanut butter sandwich. It is really popular in my area to mix peanut butter with Cairo syrup, usually the clear kind, and then spread it on bread. That's how the schools do it. At least that's how they did it when I was in school. I don't know how it is now, but this particular time, I don't ever do this, but it just sounded good for some reason. I wanted to do a peanut butter and honey sandwich, so that's exactly what I did. Sometimes I tend to forget that there's people from all over the world watching, so I'm trying to get better about showing the brands that I use, because I know that when I'm watching food videos from other countries, I think that it is super cool to see how different the packaging is and just how everything looks. So yeah, so cutting the sandwiches diagonal is a must when serving it with chili, in my opinion. And I am going to plate this up with you guys because, again, the way that people top their chili is so different, but our favorite way is just some shredded cheese and to just get like a big handful of saltine crackers and crush it up and just mix it all together. That way the cheese gets nice and melty and the crackers kind of soak up all that tomato sauce, making it perfect. Up next is another Cozy Cook special, and that is this BLT dip with ruffle chips to dip it in. And oh my goodness, y'all, this was so delicious. A must make for sure. So it's really easy to make. You're just going to need a block of cream cheese at room temperature. Philadelphia is my favorite, but this was a substitute, so we're just going to roll with it. And to that, I'm going to add in 1 cup of sour cream and 2 tablespoons of ranch seasoning. If you cannot find this where you live, there are tons of like homemade recipes online that are super easy to throw together. And then lastly, just some garlic powder, and you're just going to want to fold all of that together. I did find it easier to do this with a spatula, so I did switch to one of those. And you're just going to want to dump that out into a pie plate or really just any serving dish of your choice, but round ones do make it like super cute. So I'm just going to kind of get that spread out, leaving like some room around the edges where I'm going to add some shredded lettuce. And I've really been liking this green leaf lettuce versus like the iceberg. I think it tastes like a lot better. But now I'm just going in with some diced tomatoes, and I'm adding that all over the top of the lettuce. You could totally add it in the middle as well, but I was really digging the way that this was looking. Like, how perfect will this be for a Christmas party? It looks like a little Christmas wreath, and plus just the colors, I thought it was super, super cute. But for the final touches, we're going to go in with some shredded cheese. At first, I was just going to leave it in the middle, but then I decided to add it on top of the tomatoes and lettuce, kind of make it kind of like a little salad. And of course, what's a BLT without the bacon? So this is about 6 to 7 pieces that is cooked and crumbled, and that's it. Super, super easy. And to go along with that, we were filling some sub sandwiches. So I just took one and I split it in half, and me and Riley shared that one. I ordered this honey ham from the deli. By the way, I did not pay that price. I had like a $2 off coupon, but this was a full pound. But yeah, I did request for this to be shaved. That's how we really prefer it, but it didn't come that way. Honestly, a lot of stuff went wrong with this order, but I'm not here to be negative. I guess that's what I get for not going in myself. But I'm just going to add a piece of sharp cheddar cheese on top, a slice of tomato, and then I'm going to go in with a little bit more of that shredded lettuce, and I'm going to drizzle on some of this submarine like dressing on top of the lettuce and tomatoes. It really gives it that special touch, and I find this by like the deli at Walmart. That's where I buy mine. And then lastly, just some mayo. I can't tell you which one's my favorite. I like Duke's, Hellman's, Kraft. I really can't decide, but there's my sandwich, and we just served this BLT dip like family style. But of course, I could not end this clip without giving you like a little scoop to kind of show you what it looks like once it's all like, you know, scooped up. The chips did break kind of easily, so I guess it would be best to kind of scoop some on your plate, kind of stir it all together. But yeah, there's a little bit of everything on it, and it was really good and just something different. Right here is a new family favorite. So this is a Philly cheesesteak tortellini bake. So to make this, you're going to need a 19-ounce bag of tortellini. It could be fresh, frozen, just whatever you have available. But I'm using the frozen tricolor, and I'm just going to add that to some boiling water and cook it 1 minute shy of being al dente. To a skillet, I'm going to heat up some avocado oil, or you could use olive, and I'm going to throw in some frozen peppers. I didn't use that many because I knew that my family would just more than likely pick them out, but I have personally come to really love these. But if it's not your thing, just leave it out. But I'm going to saute that for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to take about a half a pound of some deli roast beef, and I'm just going to slice that into thin strips. So now that my peppers have softened some, I'm going to add in 2 ounces of cream cheese, and I'm going to pour in this whole jar of Alfredo sauce. Now, this is something that I never buy. I've never really been a fan of jarred Alfredo sauce. I much prefer like homemade, but I wanted to give it a chance because I could see how it would work in this particular dish. So basically, I'm just going to wait until that cream cheese melts down, and then that is when I'm going to go ahead and dump in that thinly sliced roast beef. And of course, I'm just going to make sure that that's all nice and coated in that sauce. And then all that's left to do is to add in my drained tortellini and to get that coated. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out a 9x13 casserole dish. I'm going to spray it down with some nonstick cooking spray and dump in all of that goodness. And then for the last ingredient, I'm just going to take some slices of provolone cheese and add that all over the top. Add as little or as much as you want to. I did 6 pieces and that was perfect for us. So I cooked this at 350 degrees for 20 minutes and just look at that cheesy goodness. I was glad that I gave that jarred Alfredo sauce a chance because just that little bit of cream cheese really helped it a ton. Of course, as well as like the sweetness of the peppers and that flavor from the roast beef and the provolone cheese. Like all of those things together really does work well. Like I was impressed. So I did have to add some pepper on top because a dish just does not feel complete unless I do that, but we just served it with some fresh corn on the cob. Next, I'm making a lighter version of orange chicken. So I'm going to start by heating up some sesame oil. And once that was nice and hot, I dumped in 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I just diced up into little bite-sized pieces. You could also do chicken thighs if you wanted to. And I'm just going to fry that up until it is completely cooked through. It has developed some like little crispy brown bits. So while that was cooking, I got started on my sauce, which is 2 cups of orange juice, a 1/4 cup of either low sodium soy sauce or coconut aminos, if you have that. The recipe did call for a 1/4 cup of chicken broth, but I didn't have any, so I improvised with some water and just a little bit of this chicken bouillon powder. I'm also going to do 3 tablespoons of honey. I decided to just eyeball it, and also a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm going to do some squeezed ginger, but you could do fresh ginger if you wanted to, or even ground ginger, just whatever you have. And then some black pepper and some zest of an orange, and I did make sure to like constantly rotate it so that I wasn't going to grate in any of that like bitter part. So yeah, I'm just going to whisk that together. Make sure you really whisk it to break up all of that honey. You don't want it to all sit at the bottom. And here's my chicken. Once it was done, I'm just removing that to a separate bowl, and I'm just going to set that to the side. So to that same skillet, I'm going to dump in that sauce mixture that I just whipped up, and I'm going to let that come up to a boil like this, and I'm just going to let that cook for about 20 minutes. I did come in and stir it like every couple of minutes, and here is what you are left with. As you can see, it really reduced down and thickened up quite a bit, and the fragrance that it left in my kitchen I absolutely love. So I'm just going to dump back in that cooked chicken and get everything tossed and coated in that orange glaze and get that chicken heated back up. But that was it. Of course, I prefer like the breaded and deep fried orange chicken, but this was a really great option that I would totally make again. I thought it was the perfect combination of sweet and salty, and I just love that strong like orange flavor in it. It did have like a really deep flavor. I think I may have burnt the sauce a little bit, but we still really enjoyed it. Of course, served it over some white rice and added some sesame seeds. I had a half a head of cabbage left over in my fridge that really needed to be eaten. It was left over from a vegetable soup that will be in a separate video, but I decided to cook it up in the Instant Pot with some butter, chicken broth, salt, and pepper, and oh my goodness, I think I liked it even better than like the main course. If you have never cooked cabbage in the Instant Pot, you totally need to try it. For my daughter's birthday, which is also Halloween, all she requested when I asked her where she wanted to eat was Chick-fil-A. And of course it fell on a Sunday, so they are closed. Not to mention, it's kind of a bit of a drive for us. So I had to improvise, and I'm going to be doing some copycat chicken minis using these Sister Schubert rolls, some honey cinnamon butter, and these Southern chicken bites. And I'm just going to cook some Great Value frozen shredded hash browns as the side. this was more of a brunch, by the way. We did take her out for dinner later in the evening, but oh my goodness, these were so crazy close to like the Chick-fil-A chicken minis. I was shocked. They are so incredibly good, so easy, and I'm going to be making these like all the time now. Along with the hash browns, I also did just some random canned pineapple, and she was a happy girl. And here we are that evening. She picked Olive Garden. She wanted some spaghetti and fries. But that is going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to go and check out Tiffany's video. See you on my next one.